July 16, 1948. A small seaplane takes off from Macau. It's a 20-minute flight to Hong Kong. People call it the cigarette flight. Short enough to smoke one cigarette during it. That plane never lands, and what happens on board changes the history of flying forever. Her name was Miss Macao, a Catalina seaplane owned by Cathay Pacific. On board were 23 passengers, a wealthy gold trader carrying bullion between the two cities, a well-known jockey, an executive from Coca-Cola, even a circus ringmaster who missed his ferry and booked this flight instead. 4 other men boarded too. Quiet, dressed in suits and hats like men from a gangster film. Nobody suspected them. There were no metal detectors in 1948. Carrying a gun onto a plane was easy. Minutes after takeoff, the 4 men pulled out their weapons. The hijackers wanted one thing: money. The gold trader was their target. They planned to force the plane down, rob the passengers, and hold everyone for ransom. But the crew didn't surrender. The co-pilot grabbed a heavy metal pole and struck one of the attackers across the head. The confrontation escalated inside the aircraft. Passengers and hijackers struggled inside the cramped cabin as the situation rapidly spiraled out of control. The captain was critically wounded. Control of the plane was lost. Miss Macao dove nose first into the sea. The crash claimed 26 lives. "26 people died that day. Only one person lived. His name was Wong. A local fisherman pulled him from the water that night. At the hospital, he told police a strange story. He said the plane exploded in mid-air. He said he remembered nothing after that. But the story didn't hold up. Police found bullet holes in the recovered wreckage, and Wong was wearing a life jacket when he was rescued. Nobody puts on a life jacket by accident, seconds before a plane hits the water. Police didn't believe him, but they had no confession and no witnesses left alive. So they tried something unusual. They quietly filled his hospital ward with undercover officers. The officers posed as ordinary patients. They spoke his language. They spent days slowly earning his trust. It worked. Wong started talking to the men beside him, not knowing they were police. Eventually, he admitted the truth. He was one of the 4 hijackers. Here's the strangest part of this story. The hijacking happened in the air, over open water, between 2 different territories. Hong Kong was under British rule. Macau was under Portuguese rule. The British said the crime happened outside their jurisdiction. The Portuguese said the same thing since the aircraft was registered in Hong Kong. Neither side would take the case. So after 3 years in a Macau prison, Wong was released. No trial. He was simply deported to mainland China. At the time, there wasn't even a proper word for what happened. Newspapers called it air piracy. Cathay Pacific's own director said the facts were so fantastic they appeared incredible. But the case exposed a real problem. International law had no answer for a crime committed in the sky. In the 10 years after Miss Macao, hijackings stayed rare, just over 1 a year worldwide. By the 1970s, that number had jumped to over 40 a year. It took until 1970, more than 2 decades later, for the Hague Convention to finally make hijacking a punishable international crime. One short flight, one violent afternoon, and a legal gap that took the world 20 years to close.
That's the story of Miss Macao, the first hijacking in aviation history. No trial, no real justice, Just a gap in the law that nobody had thought of yet. It's strange to think before this day, the word hijacking didn't even exist for planes. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.